Hey again. You guys know me as a competitive card game player and analyst, but my analysis skills aren't just limited to that genre of game. So here we have Fortnite, which I started playing recently, and I've joined the game at a very critical point, and I really want to get my input out there so that people are more conscious about exactly how important these shooting tests are for the future of Fortnite, which leads into what I think is the best direction to take the game for the developers. And then, with all that taken into account, what our duty is as the Fortnite community when we're giving feedback on these shooting tests in order to produce the best game, right? So, let's get to it. Okay, so first things first, the direction of the game that I think they should take it in. I think 100% the game should be developed for a competitive scene. Absolutely. There's a lot of depth in Fortnite in terms of comparison to other battle royales because of the building aspect of it. It's great. It adds a lot of skill, a lot of thinking, critical thinking, how to approach an enemy, how to close gaps. It's really great in terms of the battle royale genre, what the building does. Right now, we have a limited amount of players that are very skillful at both aspects of the game, which are the first person shooter aspect, or third person in this case, but the shooting aspect and the building aspect. So at this point, we have players that have, in the thousands and solo wins and things like that. And it's like, that's all fine and good, but that's not going to lead to the longevity of Fortnite as a premier game to play for players. I think clearly with a competitive scene in mind, there are, qualifiers, organizations, teams, the players themselves, the stories with the players, championships, world championships, there's so much that goes with it in terms of developing a real following. Like, there are fans of the game, there are players of the game, the competition, the community, it just gets, it takes the game to a completely different level. Like, I'm thinking about, how does this game reach its maximum potential? And it has to be through competitive, I think. So with that being said, the importance of the shooting tests, it's basically one of the most important things that could happen to the game at this point and in the future, right? So what I'm talking about here is, you can read, I have it highlighted. The shooting test, this is shooting test number 1. It's an alternative gameplay test which modifies weapon accuracy for a more precise aim. So currently, the system in Fortnite includes a characteristic called Bloom, which is random bullet spread on shots fired. Obviously, the system in place right now for the game, I don't think is, conducive to a good competitive environment. And I think pretty clearly the developers agree with that. They want to put the shooting tests out for players to give them feedback on how it feels when there's more play given to the gunfights and the aiming and the fighting in this way, right? With more accuracy, precise aim. A very common feedback that I've heard from very prominent players, huge players, Shroud, Dr. Disrespect, as examples, is that they dislike the way that the play feels, the gunplay in Fortnite as it stands. That feedback that those players give is also consistent in a way with the methods by which we should be looking to develop the competitive scene, okay? Their complaint on the gunplay is a reflection of the fact that the systems in place right now would not be good for competitive. I believe that players are looking for systems that reward skill in these terms, the way put here by the shooting test description is precise aim, and then it lends itself to more to better plays and outplays and better competitive environment in general. Okay. Personally, I think that the description for shooting test number 2 looks really good to me. It was described as being perfect accuracy with weapon recoil, which I think is great. Adding an effect like accuracy with weapon recoil actually acknowledges both sides, or due to both sides of the arguments that are given so far, right? Number one, perfect accuracy with weapon recoil will lend itself to being a higher skill cap because you have to aim properly, obviously, and weapon recoil means that the player has to control, you know, the shooting rate and the weapon, how it's going to be moving based on the shots and things like that, which is more skillful. Okay. Additionally, players' complaints about the gunplay, as mentioned previously, this is exactly what they're talking about, which is like the way that weapons feel in the game right now. Therefore, what I'm arguing is that as the Fortnite community, with this in mind, we need to give the feedback to the developers on exactly what we want the competitive scene to be comprised of. The systems that we're testing right now with the shooting tests are going to lead directly into what we see in competitive. So it's extremely important that we let the developers know what we want as a community. And let me be clear here. What I'm saying is not, it doesn't necessarily have to be one of the models that we're testing right now, because shooting test 1, I can tell you right now, I think shooting test 1 is a slight improvement over what's in the game right now, but I don't think it's good enough as it stands. I think shooting test number 2, given the description, would be much better, but we still have to test it, so we still have to see. But what I'm saying is, maybe the models that we're testing right now aren't exactly what we want in the game, but we need to tell them, like, yes, I like perfect accuracy with weapon recoil. However, I think this doesn't feel right, or this should be in the game, or this should change, or whatever. Whatever the feedback is, we need to really be vigilant about what we're telling them about what we want in the game, because it's very important for the future of Fortnite, exactly what's going to happen with these tests. Alright, so those are my thoughts on where Fortnite's at right now and the future, possibly. So if you guys like this video, this is what I do. I just analyze stuff, give my input on what I think is the best course of action. So if you like it, you can subscribe to the channel. If you want to see me live, I do stream on Twitch, so you can find me there at Lucchese, same name as here. And if you want to ask me a question, or like you have something you want me to analyze or something, I would just do it for fun. It's fine. You can also tweet at me. Twitter is Lucchese as well. So that's all. Thanks for watching.